Americans must know that we're putting the American people first again. On trade, so true. On trade, on immigration, on foreign policy, the jobs, incomes, and security of the American worker will always be my first priority. No country has ever prospered that failed to put its own interests first. Both our friends and our enemies put their countries above ours. And we, while being fair to them, must start doing the same. We will no longer surrender this country or its people to the false song of globalism. The nation state remains the true foundation for happiness and harmony. I am skeptical of international unions that tie us up and bring America down, and will never enter. And under my administration, we will never enter America into any agreement that reduces our ability to control our own affairs. NAFTA, as an example, has been a total disaster for the United States and has emptied our states, literally emptied our states of our manufacturing and our jobs. And I've just gotten to see it. I've toured Pennsylvania. I've toured New York. I've toured so many of the states. They have been cleaned out. Their manufacturing is gone. Never again. Only the verdict. And I have to say this strongly. Never again. Only the reverse will happen. We will keep our jobs and bring in new ones. There will be consequences for the companies that leave the United States only to exploit it later. They fire the people. They take advantage of the United States. There will be consequences for those companies. Never again. Under a Trump administration, no American citizen will ever again feel that their needs come second to the citizens of a foreign country. I will view, as president, the world through the clear lens of American interests. I will be America's greatest defender and most loyal champion. We will not apologize for becoming successful again, but will instead embrace the unique heritage that makes us who we are.
Centera weight loss.
Pretty interesting, huh? I mean, can't really argue with Trump on that. But let's see, just to go from here to establish my point. I figure this is a good search. I haven't done this. Well, in any case, just there's a few other things. Oops. I mean, dude,
some viewers may find the following
like I can't do it like this. It's so hard. I never type like this. That's why. Sorry about that.
Before I conclude, I need to point out that China has all along followed the principle of non-interference in other countries' domestic affairs. This is a tradition of Chinese foreign policy. Our observance of this principle has received acclaim from the international community. We did not and will not interfere in any country's domestic affairs. We refuse to accept any unwarranted accusations against China, and we call upon other countries to also observe the purposes of the UN Charter and not to interfere in other countries' internal affairs. Thank you.
I thank the Minister for his statement. Thank you.
So, policies. And then, from there, someone else looked it up too.
Russia says it will press ahead with plans to sell Syria an air defense system despite Western opposition. It's also accused the European Union of what it calls throwing fuel on the fire by letting its arms embargo expire, saying it would complicate efforts to fix an international peace conference. Russia's Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov defended Moscow's decision by saying it would help deter what he called hotheads who back foreign intervention. His remarks have toughened Russia's defiance of the United States, France and Israel over the planned sale of precision S-300 missile systems. Military experts say they could significantly boost Syria's ability to stave off outside intervention. But Israel is also standing firm and has issued a veiled warning of a military response. Defense Minister Moshe Yaalon said the shipments are not on their way yet, this I can say. I hope they will not leave, and if, God forbid, they reach Syria, we'll know what to do. In the meantime, Israel is preparing as usual for any confrontation on land or at sea. Its biggest fear is that Russian-supplied advanced arms could end up in the hands of its arch-enemy Iran or the Lebanese Hezbollah group.
The Kremlin is sending an S-300 missile defense system to its ally a week after one of its own Russian planes was shot down by inaccurate Syrian anti-aircraft fire. Moscow blames Israel for the incident. The U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton says the missile sale would be a significant escalation, and he is encouraging Russia to
Heartland یا قلب زمین.
الان ما کنار این سه مورد هستیم مثبت 5 تا ملخی داره. منتها مجدد میگم ملخیاشون فاصله رعایت نمیکنن، اخطار حرکت کن دستتون حرکت کن سریع امید رستم حرکت کن آرایش ستونی دستتون خط 1 و 2 آمادگیشون رو کامل حفظ کنن. خط 1 و 2 مورخه 1/1397 خروج از خلیج فارس.
این مستند کاملا واقعی است، دور از هر گونه تبلیغات. نگاه کن و خود نتیجه بگیر.
So we can see that we can see that things are kind of escalating a little bit, right? And the thing is, Fox Business, CBS News, Fox Business. We'll check out Canada.
Don't tell this guy, but this Nova Scotia lobster could be on a dinner plate on the other side of the world by tomorrow, and he certainly won't be the only one.
It's been brisk, to say the least. The demand has been there.
And increasingly, that demand is from China. Thanks to that country's trade war with Trump, live Canadian lobsters are on the move, destined for Asia in volumes no one has seen before.
I feel great. I mean, We're in the business to sell lobsters. We're not here to babysit them. We want them going to international markets around the world whenever we can.
In July, mid-squabble, China hit the U.S. with a 25% tariff on its lobster, opening the door for cheaper Canadian lobsters to crawl in. Right away, Canadian lobster exports to China nearly doubled compared to a year earlier. Most of it leaves via Halifax's airport, which explains why these days the shippers can't load the jumbo jets fast enough.
The 8 flights a week we're seeing now is just unfathomable. It's crazy.
But the sheer volume of lobster has some asking questions. With Nova Scotia inventory being drained, there's concern about a grey market. Could some shippers here be importing Maine lobster and then shipping out mislabeled as Canadian lobster as a...
I was just thinking about this little grey market, but I've only got a little bit of time.
way for the U.S. to sidestep Chinese tariffs.
Definitely there seems to be some lobster coming in that way. Although
at industry meetings, there's a fear that could jeopardize a booming market.
We're watching it, and more importantly, some of our live shippers are worried that it could erode the Canadian market, so we're making sure that we understand it. And then we're trying to dig into the country of origin rules a little more, but as we know it now, live lobster is very clear. If it comes in...
Alright, so they went on with it differently. I'm about to run out of time on my phone because I'm using my older one. But what it comes down to is that China is going to start exploiting resources of other places, just like this place in Canada. And it's just very coincidental I came across this one because I never watched it before. But drain them of their resources, and then China, won't be able to enter in and put the squeeze on them and whatnot, and pretty much, because that's what China is doing. It's basing its economy on consuming resources, just like what it's doing in Africa by its colonizing and everything of that nature. Commandeering natural resources. They're doing a significant land grab, just like the Russians are doing in the Arctic, and the Americans are. We're finally kind of, getting there, but, what I think actually happened with this globalism speech and everything like that, I think that because Trump and Putin, they get it, I believe, and I'm not even, going with blind ignorance here. The thing is, I believe that they're trying to take on something far greater than themselves, and I respect them for that. Do I know their intentions? I'm still trying to figure these out. The thing is that, I really believe that the Democrats are, they're going to lose a lot of the mainstream votes, like the main votes, but what they're going to gain is a lot of local power, and then they're going to start pressing issues, and they're going to pretty much take over